Baseball Hentai is back! What is up, everybody? Hey, I have returned. And I am having a good day. Now, you're probably wondering, hey, wait, weren't you supposed to post 2 days ago? Well, I was supposed to do that. But me and my brother had a long conversation that was mainly meant to run out the timer until eventually we weren't able to post that day. Because it was about 2 in the morning when he was about to post, and we just kind of got super tired and just gave up. We took a day, got some time off, and we came back to it. I will admit, the reasoning for me wanting to take that day was because, as you can see in the title, Part fucking 2 has shown up. Now, the reason I was excited for this is because currently Part 1 of this is my most watched video, my most, and my brother's most. Pretty much everything most viewed on this fucking channel. By a lot. Like, the one beneath it is a third the size that this one is, and it keeps getting more views, and I am honestly shocked that it has as many as it does. So I wanted to take a day, and I wanted to make sure the script was good for this one, because I wanted to, actually give out good content, because apparently people really like that content. The fact that it has 6 likes, the fact that it has at least more than 3 likes is a big step in this direction for me. And I am having a good day because I am now what you would consider poor rich, which is where a poor person has more money than they've ever had. Now, not because of these videos, but because I have the ability to steal from my brother's credit card. Alright. That being said, let's get on with the video, shall we? This is Dr. Doujinshi's Part 2 review of SUKETTO SANJOU. Made by Pink Pineapple, lasting about 15 minutes in length with 10 categories, all of which pretty decently set up. And the first thing I wrote in here is, whoa! It's back! Baseball Hentai returns! Now, on to the script, shall we? The main character is having to serve his bosses while the 2 stars are enjoying themselves in the hot springs. The 2 stars being... I actually wrote down their names because I like these characters a lot. Are Wendy and Sandy. Sandy being the blonde-haired one... Sandy being the blonde-haired one who is also considered the American of the group. And Wendy being the darker tan skin one who is technically Japanese, but she still does, you'll get it. He's having to serve all of his bosses while the main stars, Wendy and Sandy, are having themselves a good old time in the hot springs, just enjoying themselves because they were the stars of the show in the last episode. Now, the main character himself finally gets a little bit of a break, so he decides to chill in the hot springs, as you do. And then, out of nowhere, a very hot American baseball player walks up to him, this being Andy, and gets up on that meat scepter. Gotta say, extremely relatable. Happens all the time. Just want to take a bath, and out of nowhere, fucking Paris Hilton shows up and you gotta get her the fuck out of her room. She's gross. And then smexy time happens. But right after the act itself happens, he gets caught by the tan player, this being Wendy. And then the main character passes out in the water. He then wakes back up with the oh-so-original, I've developed amnesia. Bitch, have you seen Overboard? The girl falls into the water in freezing temperatures for about an hour and wakes up with amnesia. You were under a hot springs for possibly 2 minutes. He develops amnesia, and then the American Sandy then runs away to get help. While the tan-skinned Wendy stays behind and tries to jog his memory. Well, instead, jogging isn't the right sport. How about pogo sticking? It's a lot about you spread your legs, get on a pole, and just go boing, 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 until eventually problem gets solved. And it fails. He doesn't remember anything. But in that failure comes the ability to get caught having smexy time. I'm getting caught by the American Sandy, who is also the blonde character, that I'm pretty sure she's the one with 44 tattooed on her ass cheek, and that is the best thing ever. They get caught, and then she decides, hey, maybe if we both do it, it'll get solved. So the blonde, Sandy, the American, ends up getting up on that and continues on the tradition of fucking this dude's brains back in. It doesn't work, but he's okay with that. And then the episode ends. Tragic ending. Loss of memory. And the need for a threequel. Now, let's get into the actual review of it, because that is my job, even though I am not getting paid for this. Thanks, Susan. You loser. You run a website, you lose. No, I'm kidding. I don't give a fuck about Susan. The animation is not the greatest. It's not the greatest, but it makes up for it in the art style of the characters and the fact that the characters are incredibly well designed, because I love their design so much. Now, the reason I say it's not the greatest is because it utilizes a lot of motions set to repeat, like those constant thrusting motions that show up in characters, where they'll linger on a scene for about 2 seconds of the guy moving and the girl reacting in the same way. Not as jarring as stuff done by Queen Bee, but it's still really good given the fact that it's Pink Pineapple and they at least know how to do their sort of thing. And the camera work is often changed a lot to different perspectives to show where everything's going. They cut back on having to animate dynamic scenes by changing the camera angle every few seconds. It's a little trick, but it works decently well in this, and I gotta say the art style and the camera placement actually makes up a good amount for the lack of animation. So I'm gonna give that a solid 7 out of 10. You didn't think I'd actually try in this one, did you? Because I don't give a fuck and try about anything. But as a man with a doctor's coat and a Crusader's helmet and a random composition book he found will say, it is better to sink in the cum than come in the sink. My friend told me that, and I didn't have a good response until I found a meme on Reddit that answered that question perfectly, and I sent it to him, and he had a stroke because he wasn't expecting me to actually come up with a good answer. Now, the main character is pretty basic and fulfills the role of a main character in a hentai pretty well. But Wendy and Sandy are the best fucking things ever. And they get a 10 out of 10. Now you're probably thinking, is that bias based on your own personal preferences? Well, this is a review, and reviews are based on bias, and bias is what I'm going with. I have not shown bias in any other series so far, and I will show bias in a few series because of my show towards them. Not to say that I will be biased on everything. There are many, many ones that I will be unbiased and have my own personal opinion on. regardless of this, this one just happens to be an incredibly good series that I liked a lot, with good character design and the fact that these characters are amazing, which I will get into in just a second. Now, I'm finishing it off. Wendy and Sandy, top tier characters. I would save them in my file of greatest hentai women of all time. They're up there. I may make a list on best hentai women of all time. But I want to get at least 30 reviews under my belt before I do that. Let's put it this way. 50 subs, and I'll do a top 10 best hentai women. And that's a promise that I won't remember until somebody actually calls me out on it. There's 16 of you now, and I'm proud of you, motherfuckers. And that one extra guy that just joined, congratulations. Welcome to the family. We're not a happy one, but we're a quiet one. Except for one guy, and we appreciate the shit out of him because he has nothing but kind words to say. Thank you, random guy. Not going to say your name because I always pronounce it really well when I'm reading the comments. But then as soon as I'm not looking at it, I forget everything about how to pronounce it. I know it starts with an A, and it's Asian in origin. I myself am white as fuck, and am not going to try to pronounce it. The only reason I know how to pronounce all the hentai that's in here is because I sit in a mirror for about 5 minutes and rehearse how to say them. Now, back to this. The content itself. By my own personal standards, it is fucking fantastic. Mostly because I myself, being able to swing both ways like the baseball bat I am, watch out motherfuckers, have a refined sense of what the ultimate thing when it comes to standards, beauty, and sexiness is. That is the ass. Now you can probably make a guess, you can probably make points that boobs and pecs are on the same level, but men don't have boobs when they're at their physical peak. Women always have boobs, even at their physical peak. So that's not a fair comparison. Now you can't compare anything else. Stomach is a good one, not the same. Thighs, those are a good standard, but the true sense of beauty that everyone in the world has is the ass. The glorious. The shapely. Ass. And this has it in tolls. Whatever the fuck that word is. There is so much of it. And it's beautiful. God has given me a gift. And it is this. 10 out of 10. Would recommend, would reset my profile picture of this woman's ass. Of both these women's ass. Now, before I get into my overall review, here's a little note that I wrote to myself. None of this has anything to do with the fact that the two baseball players, one named Sandy and one named Wendy, one of them has tribal tattoos going down her that complement her color palette really well, and the other one is just a flat-out fucking baseball player with tattoos all over her body, and they look fantastic, and it has nothing to do with the fact that two sexy fucking waifus who play baseball were singing the national anthem in English in this hentai. I'm going to repeat that in case you guys didn't get how much freedom I'm trying to get into this. Two hentai women who do not speak English were singing the American national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? In English, with heavy accents, in a hentai about baseball sexy women. That is a bingo chart that I never thought I'd cross perfectly, and I am glad that I have found it. Now, overall, mathematically speaking, this is a 9 out of 10 when it comes to 7 plus 10 plus 10 divided by 3. Now, on that note, it almost gets a 10 for the way that it ends. The way that it ends is the main character not getting his memory back, but then the two girls realizing that there is something more important than his memory, and that is the 8 inches of man beneath his legs, and then they both bend over, exposing their ass to him. And in English, they both look at him in sync and say, "Fuck me." Now, if that doesn't make you rewatch the video again, I got news for you, man. You're stupid. You're just plain stupid. If there's a female watching this, good for you. You've made it this far, and I'm surprised that you're in this. I support the fact that you're here. But if that fact alone doesn't get you to rewatch this, it's 15 minutes. You can summarize. You can sit through 15 minutes twice. But if that doesn't draw you back in like the magnetic gravitational force that it is, then I'm sorry. Hope has been lost. And you will never be Hokage. Two sexy hentai women sing the national anthem in English. And then they both say "fuck me" in English. In sync. Perfect. Together. Well, that is a sin. Sin! And you know how sins are dealt with Crusaders. We have swords for those reasons. And on that note, I would like to go ahead and commence with the end of this video. I've been more upbeat this time around, mostly because I took a day and actually thought through this script instead of just creating it and throwing it around. But until the next time, I have been the Doctor, and if you want to see anything else, you can comment whatever the hell you want in the section. It's down there for whatever reasons. What reasons, I don't know, but have a nice day. I've been the Doctor. Wash your fucking hands, stay safe, and if you see somebody you don't like, just kick the shit out of them. Seems like it'd work. Or just tell them they're ugly. Either one works. Have a nice day. The Doctor, signing out. Bye, guys.